A stone's throw from Rye's rocky coastline, just below the sandy front lawns of oceanside homes, under the flip-flops and bare feet of beach strollers.
So you think she's underneath our feet here?
Absolutely.
There's a treasure trove of history.
We're walking the deck of the Lizzie Carr.
Wow.
The shipwreck of the Lizzie Carr lays here, south of Wallace Sand State Beach, where Parsons Creek empties into the Atlantic.
The nickname of this section of the beach is Pirates Cove Beach because it was named after a restaurant that used to be nearby.
Rye town historian Alex Herlihy knows the remains of the Lizzie Carr can stay hidden for years until a ferocious storm and strong tides strip away the sand. And only then she surfaces. Bones bared like in the winter of 2023.
That's the mystery that's just beneath the sand here, although we don't know how far.
So some people might not even know there's a shipwreck under their feet.
That's right. I think this may be true in a lot of places, especially where there are rocky headlands and dangerous submerged ledges, which the ships just cannot avoid. They'll be out to sea and the storms will blow them in.
That's what happened to the Lizzie Carr in January 1905. The 286-foot schooner on her way from Maine to New York City with a cargo of lumber and other building materials.
And there was a terrific storm. And of course, that scenario unfolded here. The Lizzie Carr was blown onto these rocks behind me and crashed. In 1905, the only building along this coast was a U.S. life-saving station. It just happened to be right here.
The U.S. Life-Saving Service monitored the coast for mariners in trouble, the surfmen who've earned legendary status around here, ready to launch.
So immediately the crew went to work with their surf boats, these dories that could crash through the surf. They were able to rescue the whole crew. I think there were 6 crew. One of them, unfortunately, before the rescue happened, tried to swim ashore and was drowned because the storm was still ferocious. It was an event, absolute event. And the word would get out quickly. People were riding their horses around, and people would be coming down with their wagons to see what they could salvage. I know back in those days, you know, at Finders Keepers, one of the things that was salvaged was the wheel, appropriately called the helm, you know, to steer the vessel. And that was made in Gloucester by the Richardson Steering Company.
So when people came and picked up the lumber from the Lizzie Carr shipwreck, they used it to build around here?
That's right. So, and people often say that's true. A lot of the houses of coastal communities were built from the salvage. It could have been the actual ship itself, or it could have been what it was carrying.
So it's fair to say that some of Rye is built through shipwrecks.
That's right, absolutely.
But some of the schooner's skeleton weathered scavengers' time and tide, sunken deep in the sand, until the ribs of the vessel emerged in 1998. An elaborate excavation began with late marine archaeologist David Switzer from Plymouth State University at the helm.
Just 2. Just 2.
Part of the hull exhumed from her burial spot and transported to a new resting place inside the Seacoast Science Center.
It was brought to the Science Center during a construction phase when our main entrance was torn apart. So that's the only way we were able to fit it into the Science Center. It took all of that space when we had no doors.
Karen Pravazza was at the dig site back then.
And you were there watching the whole thing.
I do remember being there and watching the whole excavation. It was really, really exciting to see David Switzer and his team unearthing the portion of the shipwreck and to see them calculate the section to come to the Seacoast Science Center.
The heavy oak beams from this buried treasure stand next to artifacts from the U.S. Life Saving Service, responsible for rescuing most of the Lizzie Carr's crew. The forefathers to the U.S. Coast Guard paved the way by keeping watch over the waters.
So there were people officially walking the coast looking to see if there was any distress signals from ships.
You know, it's a piece of history and it captures people's interest and imagination, and it really fascinates people.
To this day, people are fascinated by the story of the Lizzie Carr and those rare moments when her remains reveal themselves on this Rye beach for a few hours or days at a time before the sea shrouds her with sand, entombing these timbers once again.
There's a lot of shipwrecks that happened earlier, especially 16 and 1700s. They weren't as well documented, but they're out there. This is also a great part of our legacy and our history, and that's why the Lizzie Carr is so important.